The Venezuelan media have uncovered a 48-hour terrorism spree that was planned to be carried out by a known right-wing extremist student organizer, Lorent Saleh. Now, what they did was they recorded one of his Skype conversations and found out this information. Now, Venezuela has been releasing these recordings over the last little while, and this is the fourth one to come out. In this recording, they identified 20 targets that they said they had the means and the intelligence in order to attack. So the actions by the Venezuelan government have prevented a right-wing terror plot that was set to last 48 hours. Saleh participating in Skype conversation with an unidentified second person is the fifth in a series of videos released by the Venezuelan government over the past week, exposing the existence of a coordinated terrorist network operating from the Venezuelan-Colombia border. As you'll recall, many months ago, probably back in February, there were a lot of student activists who claimed that they were just maliciously killed by the Venezuelan government just because they protested. Now, the actual numbers killed is actually quite low. And in reality, the Venezuelan government was saying that these people were being organized by right-wing forces outside of the country, most particularly for the interests of the United States, which has been going on for many, many years now since the Bolivarian Revolution began. It was stated over and over again, these guys were working for foreign powers. They were right-wing extremists that were killing people, and there were announcements of these killings which were being denied. Or they were saying that they were PSY operations by the Venezuelan government. And yet here it is, a known violent, radical, essentially terrorist student organizer has been caught. And his conversations planning these things has been exposed. And it's been shown that these were done from the Skype recordings themselves, that they were receiving training from paramilitary forces inside Colombia. In other words, the unofficial 6th Division of the Colombian Army, I believe it's called the ACU, which is being funded by the United States government. It is also the organization that carries out the majority of the human rights abuses inside of Colombia, many of them deliberately blamed on the FARC rebels inside the country. And all of this has been going on for some time, yet has been adamantly denied by the United States, and has been adamantly denied by Colombia itself. This definitely shows that U.S. imperialism is alive and well in Venezuela, and that they have absolutely no moral objection to carrying out terrorist attacks, one that's supposed to last about 2 days. This is the limit, the absolute limit to the social democratic principles that Nicolas Maduro, and rightfully so, also be heaped onto Hugo Chavez. They're not doing enough to stop these forces. If they already know that these terrorist organizations are inside the country, planning to do these things with the specific purpose, as they stated, to destabilize the Venezuelan government for right-wing forces outside the country, why is not the government going in right now and just shutting down these groups? Maduro has to start getting in there and start cracking skulls. He needs to send the military into these organizations, their sympathizers in the bourgeois-owned media, and shut them down. Just roll the military in right now. Hey, you find one of these terrorist cells, shoot them right in the middle of the street and get rid of them. These are clearly terrorist actions that are being carried out by the United States. They're being supported by the very high of the bourgeois inside Venezuela. Confiscate their private property. Take away the very thing that makes them who they are. Stop tolerating this. But because Venezuela keeps sticking to these social democrat principles as opposed to actual revolution, they're letting all of this continue. They are going to have to step outside bourgeois law in order to get this done. Bourgeois law, both domestic and international, are set up with the very purpose of protecting private property. If you are fighting against the ruling class and you have the intention of creating socialism, you are going to have to go outside the ideas of bourgeois morality and bourgeois law and bourgeois courts. That is what Venezuela is not doing. That's what Maduro is not doing. And that's what he has to do. He has to break with these notions and become the radical that's actually needed to transform into socialism. Thank you for watching. Please comment and rate the video. If you liked it, hit subscribe or check out some of these other great videos. If you wish, share it on social media. While you're at it, why don't you follow me on Twitter? And if you got time, go on over to the MRN bookstore and check out some of the latest books available.